Hello, everyone. My name is Honorata Jarocka. I am a principal analyst at Mintel, and I have been part of the Mintel food and drink team since 2013. I am responsible for covering trends and opportunities across bakery, but also in breakfast cereal. And today I would love to highlight three opportunity areas for innovation in bread and sweet bakery, including simplicity, nostalgia, and the savory breakfast movement. To provide a bit more details around each of the sections I'll be talking about. So the first one, in stressful times, simplicity sells, it puts bread in the spotlight. It's about the continued popularity of bread, which delivers simple nutrition at an affordable price. The next one, nostalgia, tradition with a twist. It's about playing on the foundation of familiarity via modern twists. And the third one, the savory breakfast movement. It's about taking a savory route for an extra competitive edge. So starting with simplicity. Simplicity is an antidote to challenging times, and this was the key lesson from the Great Recession. Simplicity helps consumers overcome the paradox of choice and also helps them better manage their limited financial resources. So it's expected to remain a powerful marketing hook in the current cost of living crisis and also beyond. And in line with Mintel's 2023 global food and drink trend called savvy sustenance, bread is an ideal choice for those seeking value for money. Bread, as we all know, it's a filling option, an affordable option, and also an everyday product. It can be eaten at any time of day and can also be used in a variety of recipes. And to add consumer context, in the UK, for example, 57% of bread consumers, they say that having bread as the main component of a meal is a good way to save money. And in the US, 43% of packaged bread consumers who are eating packaged bread more often now, they are doing so as they see it as a budget-friendly option. Brands can do more to highlight bread's versatility, especially when looking to connect with savvy consumers, but also with the younger generation. And in Mexico, for example, it's 48% of consumers who choose multi-use ingredients to save money. One good example, I think, is the Thomas Bakery brand in the US that encourages consumers to get ultra creative with bread and bread products. They share a lot of interesting recipes on their website, and these include Christmas bread house, fruit pizza made with English muffins, and tiramisu made with bread in place of ladyfingers. One extra angle that could be considered is the less but better approach, as seen in other categories as well, for example, in dairy and meat. Bread players can more strongly embrace naturalness, including the only a few ingredients positioning, plus traditional and authentic processing, as well as minimalist packaging designs. Artisan-style sourdough bread will also continue to grow in popularity as many consumers opt for enhanced health and taste credentials. And with some expected improvement in the economy, fingers crossed, more people will also be able to afford such products. And in Italy, for example, 58% of bread consumers say that bread made with fermented dough is better for health than other bread types. An additional opportunity is to explore bread with benefits. And a good illustration here is Superloaf in the UK. It's a new bread product launched by Modern Baker. They teamed up with Hovis and Marks and Spencer to create, as they say, the healthiest loaf of bread ever made. They focus on optimizing the nutritional content of bread, and they also wish to tackle the growing problem of obesity and diabetes. This variety also offers immune support as well as digestive wellness and omega-3 benefits. It's a source of calcium, protein, and fiber. In addition, this bread is enriched with copper and manganese. And now moving to newstalgia, so the combination of nostalgia and the desire for something new, something fresh. Nostalgia is a strong selling point for consumers as it evokes joy and brings the feeling of comfort and security. It reminds consumers of the good times, also delivering on taste and quality. And in China, for example, it's as many as 80% of consumers who say they are reminded of happy times when they see products or packaging styles from the past. And this trend will likely develop further, and newstalgia can become the extension of nostalgia. Newstalgia can be used as a marketing tool aimed at addressing the need for new experiences and also for better for you credentials without taking consumers too far out of their comfort zones. In Canada, 64% of consumers who bake at home, they claim to have baked healthier alternatives to traditional recipes. And looking at experience-driven nostalgia, one good example was the UK launch of Marks and Spencer hot cross buns with Marmite. Going back to nostalgia, so the starting point, it has a universal and powerful pull on consumers across the globe. In the UK, for example, 59% of consumers agree that eating cakes that remind you of your childhood brings comfort. And in the US, 62% of consumers say that bread can be a fun way to add nostalgic elements to a meal. And in Australia, it's 44% of consumers strongly or somewhat agree, who strongly or somewhat agree that they crave food and drink from their childhood when they get anxious. Three examples of what giving a modern edge to familiar favorites can look like. It could be the vintage cake TikTok trend, which is based on modernizing traditional desserts that still have these vintage aesthetics. Flavored soda bread, it can also be an interesting illustration. And this launch in the middle, it's from the US and is inspired by the traditional quick bread that is made with baking soda instead of yeast. And for an added twist, it is apple and cinnamon flavored. And the third illustration, it's an update on a Christmas pudding. It was launched in Australia and it's made with chocolate to add a new flavor note to the traditional recipe. Macadamia nuts have also been added to deliver that extra crunch for consumers. And now switching to the third area, that is the savory breakfast movement. Dieting trends will continue to impact innovation across bakery. We have already witnessed increased interest in no, low, or slow carb eating plans, but the new kid on the block is the savory breakfast movement. And opting for a savory breakfast is Jessie Inchospace's top dieting tip. She's a biochemist and the author of Glucose Revolution, so the book that is trending across social media. And Jessie argues that blood sugar spikes can cause fatigue, sugar cravings, and chronic inflammation. She also says that carbs can still be enjoyed, so good news for the category, but the advice is to mix them with protein, fiber, or fat, just to lessen the glucose response. So the opportunity for bakery brands can be to increase their innovation efforts around fiber and protein. Moving into the savory breakfast territory is well placed to become a growing trend for bakery brands. Also, when looking at our consumer data, low in sugar, it continues to hold strong as a popular better for you attribute. And in Spain, 56% of sweet bakery consumers find lower in sugar to be an appealing attribute that makes a sweet bakery product healthier. In Brazil, 26% of bakery consumers say that high sugar content prevents them from eating more baked products. And in the Republic of Ireland, it's 66% of consumers, of bakery consumers, who would be interested in buying more reduced sugar baked goods. Less sugary and more savory breakfast items already enjoy significant popularity across the globe. And so I think that eating a savory breakfast can become an even more common goal for health-conscious consumers. In the US, 27% of breakfast eaters find savory to be an important attribute when selecting a breakfast item. In Poland, 62% of breakfast eaters prefer savory foods for breakfast over sweet ones. And in the UK, 26% of breakfast eaters find low in sugar to be important when choosing food to eat for breakfast. A variety of strategies can be employed to offer less sweet profiles and fewer sugar spikes. Alongside taking a fully savory route, breakfast launches can, for example, aim to feature more vegetable ingredients, as seen in the first example. It's a note bread made with carrots. Brands can also experiment with sweet and spicy flavor notes, as these would normally contain less sugar. And illustrating this is the chili chocolate muffin recipe that is sugar-free and can be an inspiration for breakfast-themed bakery launches. And another opportunity is to embrace blood sugar regulating ingredients, such as, for example, green banana flour. And green bananas, they contain resistant starch, which doesn't raise blood sugar levels and may improve long-term blood sugar management. But of course, the biggest barrier here could be existing regulations around on-pack communication, which differ market by market. And now key takeaways. So in stressful times, simplicity sells, and bread can grow its value for money appeal further via naturalness, authenticity, and versatility as well. Newstalgia, tradition with a twist. So more brands are expected to embrace newstalgia to create unique experiences for experimental consumers. And the savory breakfast movement. So bakery can tap into the savory breakfast trend, which is fueled by the growing interest in blood glucose control among mainstream consumers. Okay, so thank you very much. And anyone interested in receiving a copy of today's presentation, please use this QR code. And once again, thank you very much for your attention. Have a great day.
Thanks very much, Honorata, for delivering that very interesting presentation here at Bakery Live. What made you want to talk about this topic today?
So I wanted to focus on trends, something that's a good starting point whenever thinking about our strategies or like innovation, new product innovation, and talking about simplicity, also nostalgia and the savory breakfast movement. It's something that should be relevant to clients across the globe, and also something that is kind of looking into the future as well, so offering that potential to further talking about resonating with consumers, further building your brand. So I do feel like thinking about simplicity and naturalness in particular, I'm a huge fan of that, and I do feel this is like such a strong trend that we should really focus on emphasizing the goodness lying in bakery products, and I do feel it has longevity. So to me, trends, it's something like a good starting point for any innovation activity. So should be interesting to our attendees, hopefully, fingers crossed.
I also hope some of our attendees watching here today will draw some inspiration from the trends you presented. How did you identify these trends, and what are some of the tools that Mintel uses?
So the key database that we use is Global New Products Database, Mintel's Global New Products Database, and it's a great tool to see the innovation directions across the globe. But of course, like with this piece about trends and opportunities, we have to look into the future. So of course, I also have a look at our consumer data, which we have for the key global markets, and focusing on innovation side as well. So seeing if there are emerging trends, something that is growing and something that should be of interest, because it also brings that breath of fresh air into the market, because it's like a very big category, and I have to say that external sources of information, especially social media, it's also a great tool to have a look at and learn more, especially about what drives younger consumers. So it's a mixture of various sources just to keep it fresh, just to keep it in line with what consumers are really looking for, because it's the consumer who's in the middle and in the center of attention.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. With all that said, have you observed any consumers? Have you observed an increase in consumers who are checking back of pack labeling?
Definitely. I think, people are becoming more interested in, getting to know more about the products they buy. So yeah, they are reading more, checking, the labels, front of pack, back of pack, and it's like a good hint for brands really to keep it simple, because we are right now also overwhelmed by the amount of information around us, especially around health and wellness. And some consumers are confused. So we have to use a very simple language, maybe explain more on our website and provide more information elsewhere as well, just to keep it like really easy for consumers to make better choices and more informed choices.
And with that said, especially being overwhelmed with information, how would you advise manufacturers highlight claims such as having baked goods with vegetable ingredients and innovative things like that?
So we definitely have to keep it simple. And with vegetables in particular, I think that, a good lesson is to focus on one key ingredient, not to put too many promises on the label. And with vegetables, you can focus on one benefit that's crucial for consumers, for our target group. The other thing is that we have to focus on the flavor side, because vegetables are often, seen as not that appealing as fruit ingredients. So emphasizing the taste credentials, maybe choosing the sweeter vegetables like carrots or beetroot is also a nice attempt. And the other thing is that maybe adding a sustainability story, maybe choosing pulses which are, really planet friendly. So there are a few options, but really keep it simple and focus on the key benefit for consumers so that your selling point is also a really strong one.
Well, thanks very much, Honorata, for speaking with me and for certainly giving a great example of what providing clear and concise information can be. We appreciate you taking the time to present at Bakery Live.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Have a great day. Thank you.